EAPCET aspirants. So yes, in our previous class we have dealt with mode of reproduction session 1, where we have covered all the modes of asexual reproductions in detail. Okay, so today we are going to start with sexual reproduction. Before getting into the start of the sexual reproduction, we have to know about 3 phases of life. Those are juvenile phase, reproductive phase and senescence phase. Okay, all these 3 phases are observed in the multicellular organisms like animals and plants. Okay, and these 3 phases will be varying in different set of organisms. Variable period of times of juvenile phase, reproductive phase and senescent phase or death phase will be there. So here if you see juvenile phase, this is a period of growth. Okay, this is a period of growth before the sexual reproduction begins, and juvenile phase can also be addressed as vegetative phase. Vegetative phase. Okay, and the duration will vary among the organisms. You can see a characterized rapid growth is observed. Okay, rapid growth is observed in these organisms during juvenile phase, and organism is sexually immature, sexual organs are not functional in the juvenile phase. And then if you observe, second phase is what reproductive phase. Reproductive phase, where the phase during which organisms will produce offspring. This begins at the end of juvenile phase. Easily this is recognized in higher plants by flowering. Growth becomes poor or absent, sex organs will become functional and organism becomes sexually active. Senescence, if you see phases of aging marked by progressive deterioration of vital functions. This begins after the reproductive phase. This is accompanied by slowing of metabolism and other physiological changes. This is considered the terminal or irreversible phase of life. Ultimately, this leads to death, the permanent cessation for vital activities. So that is the reason senescence phase is also called as death phase. The only thing that you have to monitor from this slide is what is juvenile phase, what is reproductive phase and what is senescence phase. What are the characteristic features of each phase of life. That's it. Very simple. Okay. Next, flowering in plants. Okay. How the reproductive phase is active in the plants. The reproductive organ in the plants is what? Flower. Reproductive organ of angiosperms is flower, right So how many times flowering can be done in a plant? Okay, that is variable again for different plants. You can see types of plants based on the flowering phenomena. Here you have 2 types of plants. One is monocarpic and the second type is polycarpic. Monocarpic plants, they will produce flower only once in their lifetime. Here flower is produced only once in their lifetime, for example bamboo and agate. Polycarpic, if you see, when 2 parents will participate in the reproductive process, and also this involves what? Both male gamete and female gamete. Okay. So here for example mostly these plants include what? Apple, mango, guava, orange and lemon. Some plants flower throughout the year. Okay. For example hibiscus, and some others will show seasonal flowering like mango, apple and jackfruit. Here if you see bamboo plant, this will produce flowers only once in their lifetime. That too after how many years? 50 to 100 years. They will produce large number of fruits and the plants will die. Second type of plant to be highlighted is Neelakuranji, which is Strobilanthes kunthiana. These plants will produce blue flowers over 12 years, once in 12 years. It was observed in the September-October seasons of 2006. Mass flowering will be seen, and this Neelakuranji is very attractive in the hilly areas like Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Okay, just highlight these 2 plants because quite a times you got questions on the bamboo and Neelakuranji. And it is very evident to know the type of plants about monocarpic and polycarpic. Clear, right? Monocarpic plants will produce flower only once in their lifetime. Polycarpic, they will produce many at times. Okay, many times flowering will happen in the plant life. That is monocarpic and polycarpic. Now we will clearly get into the events of sexual reproduction. The events of sexual reproduction majorly involve pre-fertilization events, pre-fertilization events. Pre-fertilization events include gametogenesis, which is nothing but gamete formation. Second event that happens in the pre-fertilization event is gamete transfer. Okay, gamete formation or gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Second is fertilization events. Fertilization events wherein syngamy or double fertilization occurs in the angiosperms. After this we will go through the post fertilization events. Post fertilization events. Post fertilization events include embryo formation, that is zygote development, embryo formation if it is in angiosperms, endosperm development as well, seed development or fruit formation. These and all are what? Post fertilization events. As such, we will be going through pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization events. Here you see ma, firstly gametogenesis. Gametogenesis you see isogamy or homogamy, anisogamy or hologamy. These are different types of gametes. Few gametes, both male gamete and female gamete, they will be similar in their structure, that is morphology and physiology. Okay, both morphologically and physiologically, if two gametes are similar, then the fusion of those two gametes is addressed as isogamy or homogamy. And if two gametes, male gamete and female gamete, either if they are structurally dissimilar or physiologically dissimilar, then that type of mating or fusion is called as syngamy or heterogamy. Hologamy is the term used when motile male gamete is fused with non-motile female gamete. Here you see the clear description ma. First is isogamy or homogamy. When two fusing gametes are morphologically as well as physiologically they are similar. Okay, when two gametes, when they are morphologically and physiologically they are similar, then that type of gamete is called as what? Isogamy. Example includes monocystis, which is a protozoan, and cladophora, which is an algae. Here you can see in this algae cladophora, and in chlamydomonas also, which is unicellular green algae, chlamydomonas, wherein both male gamete and female gamete will be structurally and physiologically similar to each other. The two gametes are so similar in appearance that we cannot recognize or categorize between male and female gametes. They are hence called as what ma? Homogametes or isogametes. Next is what? Anisogamy or heterogamy. When two fusing gametes are morphologically and physiologically dissimilar. Okay, they are morphologically or physiologically different from each other. For example, if you see frogs, rabbits, human beings. Okay, in this both male gamete and female gamete are dissimilar to each other. Such gametes are addressed as what ma? Heterogametes or anisogametes. For example, if you see clearly, microgamete or sperm or anthrozoid and macrogamete or ovum or egg. These are the synonyms that are used for both male gamete and female gamete. Microgamete, sperm or anthrozoid, and macrogamete, ovum or egg cell. Clear, right? Yeah. Next, when two organisms themselves act as gametes, that is hologamy. For example, in yeast, which is the unicellular fungi. Here you have to remember the type of syngamy and the characteristic features of isogamy, anisogamy and hologamy, and then examples for each type are again important. Okay. So, here you can see clearly the heterogametes that are produced, okay, anisogamy both in Homo sapiens, and there is one more example that is highlighted, okay, Homo sapiens, and these are the two gametes where you can see like small motile male gamete and large non-motile female gamete. Clear, right? Next you see, ma. Types of flowers. We have different types of flowers based on the presence of both the sex organs in the same flower, or a single sex organ in an individual flower, or no sex organs at all. So, here if you see types of flowers, perfect bisexual or hermaphrodite flowers. This you can also address as monoecious plants, wherein it has both male reproductive structure, that is andrecium and gynoecium or pistil. Both are present in a single flower, then that flower is addressed as what, ma? Bisexual flower, perfect flower, or a hermaphrodite or a monoecious plant. Next, imperfect or unisexual flowers. If a flower bears only stamen or only andrecium, then that male flower is also called as staminate. Okay, the flower has only stamen. If the flower bears only pistil or gynoecium, okay, if the flower bears only pistil or gynoecium, then that flower is called as what? Pistillate or female flower. Okay, this flower is addressed as what? Pistillate or female flower. Stamens are absent and only female gametes are formed. And neuter flower, you see, both the essential words are absent here. Both the essential words are absent. So, here you see, ma, types of flowers. First is perfect bisexual or hermaphrodite, wherein flowers will possess both male sex organ and female sex organ. Remember the term monoecious as well. And here staminate or male flower, pistillate or female flower will possess either male sex organ or female sex organ. These are called as imperfect flowers, unisexual or dioecious And next, neuter flowers, both the essential words are absent, then that flowers are addressed as neuter flowers. This type of flowers are very important, ma. Next, a plant bearing both male and female flowers is termed as what? Monoecious. Such plants are termed as monoecious plants. For example, you see, example includes maize, castor, cucurbits and coconuts. Next, when male and female flowers are present on different plants, that is dioecious, examples are very important. Example, papaya, date palm and mulberry. These are the examples. Several fungi and plants such as homothallic monoecious, homothallic is also used as a synonym for what? Monoecious, are used to denote bisexual condition. Heterothallic or dioecious will denote what? Will denote unisexual condition. So, here you see homothallic condition, best example is Khara. Khara, homothallic or bisexual or monoecious condition, wherein Khara has both female sex organ and male sex organ. Female sex organ is oogonium or nucule Male sex organ is antheridium or globule. Fine. Female sex organ is nucleus or oogonium, and male sex organ is globule or antheridium. Next, if you see heterothallic or dioecious, where you have separate thallus, both female thallus and male thallus. Female thallus will be possessing what? Archegoniophore. Male thallus will be having what? Antheridiophore. Best example of this is what? Marchantia. Fine, right ma. So here examples to be highlighted, both in the monoecious condition and in the dioecious condition. Next, you go through the chromosome numbers. Chromosome number is very important. Okay, chromosome numbers you have to remember both for myocyte and myospore. Okay, both for myocyte. Myocyte is the cell which is going to undergo meiosis, or the diploid cell condition is also addressed as myocyte. Next, myospore are the daughter cells which are formed at the end of meiosis, and they will have a haploid condition. Okay, after reductional division, myospores are formed. Myospores are haploid in condition, myocyte is diploid. Myocyte is the cell which is going to undergo meiosis. Myospores are the daughter cells which are haploid, they are formed at the end of meiosis. Here human beings chromosome number is of course diploid, and haploid set of chromosomes will be having 23, right ma? Just half the number of chromosomes. Next, very good afternoon ma, who's this? Yeah. Next you see housefly. 12 is the complete set of chromosomes in housefly, and haploid set will be 6 chromosomes. Next, rat, 42 set of chromosomes complete in the complete chromosome, that is diploid condition, and half the set of chromosome is 21. Next, dog in a diploid set it has 78 chromosomes and haploid set is 39. Cat, if you see 38 chromosomes in the diploid set, haploid set is having 19 chromosomes. Fruit fly, 8 chromosomes in the diploid set, haploid set it is 4. Ophioglossum, this has largest number of chromosomes. Remember, quite a times asked in your previous papers. Okay, largest set of chromosomes. Ophioglossum, which is a fern, it has 1260 chromosomes in the diploid set or complete set, and the haploid set is just 630. Next, apple, whose diploid set or complete set is 34 number of chromosomes and the haploid set is just 17. Rice has 24 complete set of chromosomes and the haploid set is 12. Next, maize has 20 complete set of chromosomes, haploid set is 10, and then potato has 48 complete set of chromosomes and 24 haploid set. 380 complete set of chromosomes in butterfly and haploid set is 190. And onion, 16 chromosomes complete set and half a set is 8. Clear, right? Okay. So, this chromosome number you have to remember for sure. If you can remember the diploid set, then half the number of this will be the haploid set of chromosomes. In that way you can remember. Okay. Now you see gamete transfer. Firstly, the gamete transfer is very important. If you see in the primitive plants like algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, gamete transfer is mediated mostly by water. Okay. In primitive plants, like algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, gamete transfer is by what? Water. Fine, right? Gamete transfer is by water. But in the advanced plants like angiosperms, okay, gametes can be transferred using biotic and abiotic agents. If it is self-pollination, we have two types of self-pollination. One is autogamy and the second one is geitonogamy. Autogamy, here transfer of gametes or pollen grains from anther and stigma of the same flower. Okay, this doesn't require any pollinating agent. But then for geitonogamy, which is transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower to the stigma of different flower of the same plant, that is called as geitonogamy. For this, pollinating agents are required, and pollinating agents can be biotic and abiotic pollinating agents. Okay. For geitonogamy, pollinating agents are required. It can be biotic or abiotic. Fine, right? Next, cross pollination. Cross pollination can also be termed as xenogamy, and this definitely requires a pollinating agent for the transfer of the pollen grains. So, for gamete transfer in primitive organisms, the water is the mode through which the gametes are being transferred, and in advanced plants like angiosperms, how they are transferred. If it is self-pollination, only in geitonogamy pollinating agents are required. If it is cross-pollination also, pollinating agents are definitely required. This is about gamete transfer. Now, once the gamete is being transferred, the fusion of male gamete and female gamete is addressed as what? Fertilization. Fertilization is what, ma? Fusion of male gamete and female gamete. This can happen within the body, which is addressed as internal fertilization, or this can happen outside the body, which is addressed as external fertilization. This occurs outside the body of the female, whereas internal fertilization occurs inside the body of the female. Both the types of gametes are released from the body here in the external fertilization. Only the male gametes are released from the body in the internal fertilization. Large number of gametes are released, for example, water. Here the number of gametes that are produced will be less. Young ones develop unprotected from the beginning, but here young ones are protected in the early stages of their development. Next, this involves large degree of chance. This has surer method. And here examples, if you see for the external fertilization, examples are very important again. Bony fish, amphibians, most of the algae comes under external fertilization, and reptiles, birds, mammals, bryophytes, tracheophytes which are primitive vascular plants. Okay, all the vascular plants are addressed as what? Tracheophytes, like pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. In all this, internal fertilization will happen. Okay, only in few of the organisms like bony fish, amphibians like frog and all, and most of the algae, they will be having what? External mode of fertilization. I hope this is clear, right, ma? Now, if at all embryo is developed without the fusion of gametes, if embryo is formed, that is addressed under parthenogenesis. Okay, parthenogenesis means formation of embryo without fertilization. Parthenocarpy, development of fruit without fertilization. Two terms cannot be used as synonyms. Okay, two are different terms, and quite a times in your EAPCET exam, questions are asked on parthenogenesis and parthenocarpy. So, here you see what is parthenogenesis, ma? This is development of an individual or production of embryo without fertilization of egg or without fertilization. Then here parthenocarpy is what? Development of fruit without fertilization. Parthenocarpy occurs only in plants. Parthenogenesis is observed both in animals and plants. Here fertilization doesn't occur in both of them, and new organism or individual is produced. Here fruits are without seeds, so you can see seedless fruits. Next, unfertilized female gamete is what? Egg here. Here ovary develops into ovary. Honeybees or drones, aphids, these are the examples. Banana, seedless grapes and pineapples are the examples for what? Parthenocarpy. Biological significance, if you see parthenogenesis, this enables reproduction without males. Here this is useful to produce what? Seedless fruits or hybrid fruits. Clear, right? These are the two sections to be dealt with, parthenogenesis and parthenocarpy. So from this chapter we are only left over with post fertilization events and EAPCET previous year questions, which I will do in the next class. So that's all for today's session. After this chapter we will be dealing with the major chapter, that is sexual reproduction of flowering plants, for which this chapter is the foundation. So go through this clearly, students, and just revise the class of today so that your EAPCET practice tomorrow gets easy. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.